Disclaimer. The footage you are about to see was not originally intended to be used for the Final Fantasy XV Let's Play. You may have seen this footage on the channel before, however the commentary is still new, it is just the footage that is old. With that said, please enjoy the video. I told you I'd be back for Omega. Welcome back to part 54 of Final Fantasy XV. Where this time we're fighting Omega. The footage you're seeing now is already on the channel. Because this is when I defeated Omega for the first time on my recording. Because to be honest, I was not prepared to spend 50 odd minutes fighting this fucker again. Especially because you have to go in the chapter select to do it. So I'd either have to use my main save or grind level 99. Then lose all my side quest or thingamajig progress to do this again. So I just decided, you know what, I'll just use the old footage. It's a pain in the ass, but it gets it done, and I'm sorry if people really wanted to see me take a fresh take on it, but it is what it is. I'll go through the stats again because I did read them originally when we encountered it, but I didn't fight it, so I moved away. Its stats is level 119 with HP stat of 555,300, a strength stat of 147,920, vitality is 6,016, spirit is 7,170. It has a 99% resistance to everything except lightning. Lightning, it only has a 20% resistance, and it completely absorbs all light damage, so be very careful using Omega Unleashed not to use Royal Cleave, not to use the frame perfect dodge, and not to use the ultimate move for the free bar. It's completely immune to every status condition. There is a lot of fun trivia about this boss though that you can read up on, because and I'll read you off the official page for the monster as we go on. Omega is the optional super boss in the Insomnia Ruins dungeon, exclusive to the Royal Edition expansion or the PC version of Final Fantasy XV. It is a war mech associated with the ancient civilization of Solheim, entering the battle through a portal identical to the platforms in various Solheim ruins, such as the Kostelmark Tower and the Piteos ruins. The party calls its appearance as interdimensional nonsense. Through the Omega files, the player can read about Omega's discovery as an ancient Magitech weapon. Omega plays homage to the boss's previous appearance in the series, being of the same level as the boss in Final Fantasy V and yielding a trophy item, the Omega Bangle, when defeated. It being an ancient war machine built to kill gods is also an homage to its origins, but it also fits into the story of Solheim. The bestiary page says, mechanized weapon for decidal destruction, born of the ancient civilization of Solheim, constructed during the peak of Magitechnological prosperity. This quadrupedal, that word, robot long dwelled in the deepest recesses of the Telpar Krag, untouched and inactive. The Empire succeeded in recovering and refurbishing the weapon, but were unable to unravel the mysteries behind its mechanical operations. It was only when a certain king was born that Omega's systems went online once more. It's 43.70 feet tall and weighs 228.53 tons. Fucking hell. But strategies for this fight, whatever you do, I'm going to get out of the way, don't break the antenna on the top. Doing so will make the boss immortal to all physical damage, temporarily. The only way to hurt it when it's in that form is to swap to Prompto and shoot at it. Additionally, every single one of its attacks have a very high chance of conflicting either confusion, enervation, or instant death, which is why Gladio's got put down almost immediately when the fight started. Every single attack that connects has a chance of guaranteed kill. And what's worse is that the instant kills ignore any kind of item or element that would normally resist instant kill. Omega just doesn't give a shit. Equally, one of Omega's most dangerous attacks that you'll start doing quite frequently in the second half is that you'll start trying to tag people. If someone is tagged, they will almost immediately afterwards be hit by an attack that no matter what is always an instant kill. You're going to see I entered this fight with 99 Phoenix Downs, and we're going to go through a lot of them. Oh, there's one there. The main strategy is to break the legs. If you can break all 4 of the legs, the head will become far more exposed for you to wail onto it. Ideally, you should not be using Armor Unleashed, but I didn't know that at the time. What you should be using is base Armor, and just keep it charged up and don't use it until all 4 legs are broken, and then immediately go into it and go full force and try and get the link chain in on the head as soon as all 4 legs are broken. Because if you do enough damage in one go to the head, you can break the eye socket out and get even more pain in. And then doing the eye socket is really the only thing that you're gonna do. As in, that's doing damage. But there's not much else I can really say about this fight in that sense until we get into the second phase. During the fight, I do activate its immortal phase and have to run around. There is a neat little secret strategy you can do in this fight as well. You can tuck yourself in between that car and building over there, and Omega won't be able to get you. So you can just play as Prompto and shoot the shit out of this boss. It takes hours, but it's a safe way of dealing with this boss if you're really struggling. I also love that the first phase is entirely original piece of music, with a few hints towards referencing Final Fantasy V, but when we get into the second phase, the theme completely changes, and is straight up an orchestral remix of Final Fantasy V music, and I fucking love it, because I've made no attempt of hiding it. Final Fantasy V is one of my favourite Final Fantasy games, period. I feel like it's an extremely underrated Final Fantasy game that's just really mastercraftly well built. Yeah, it's really difficult, but I just think it adds to what it is that they did so well. And I like how the music manages to make Omega such a terrifying weapon, because it is. It's the biggest monster of the franchise next to Shinryu, and Shinryu's not in this game, so we got to deal with this. That's the thing, after Final Fantasy V, Shinryu was kind of forgotten about until Dissidia NT, where he came back as the final boss and was actually really fucking hard. Like, I still haven't beaten him, but then saying that, I don't really intend on going back to Dissidia NT anytime this decade. I really didn't enjoy NT, I thought it was really boring personally. I was really let down after how fun the PSP games were. Omega can teleport. When it does, you need to keep your wits about you, because if it decides to land directly above you, when it slams its feet, it does have instant kill properties and will just deck you. In fact, that's the main thing. Learn all of its attacks. Don't be directly in front of it because you're open to its lasers. Understand that the thing can turn on a dime very damn quickly for a mech. And so you can be put right in front of it at random if you're not prepared. And understand that the antenna on top should be left alone. That small laser can cause confusion. It's the biggest culprit of it, so if you get caught by it, you might want to run away for a bit, because the last thing you need is to hit your teammates whilst trying to deal with all this shit. If you can, it's going to sound horrible, but if you can, keep your teammates alive, because then they can bait Omega's attention away from you. If you are using Armor Unleashed, you should be using Dynamic Stance all the chance you can to get the maximum amount of damage out per hit. Also, you can tell this is before I really learned how to use the Armor Unleashed's comboing, because I don't get them off often. I say that, I'm willing to bet, and one of the main reasons why I was struggling at the time was because my adrenaline was going through the roof, because this fight is really bloody hard, and I had to do this on my second attempt. My first attempt went on for well over an hour before I lost, and then I immediately came back to fight him again because I got close. So my adrenaline would have definitely been through the roof and it would have been throwing me off. I got it there though. The main thing is to not spam the attack button when you're boarding up. You have to pace yourself, so then when you press the triangle, it only picks up the triangle. If you spam circle and then immediately try and press triangle, it won't accept it. Additionally, if you spam triangle, even if you get the timing right, it won't give it to you. You need to actually time it. Which I can appreciate, the requirement to actually put some effort in. So you might be able to see that the HP is going down, slowly but surely. All 500,000 of this bloody thing is slowly trickling. We're at least over 100,000 of the way down though. And we're 10 minutes through this. The entire video is just Omega. So if you've seen this footage before and don't care for my commentary, or just don't want to see this fight go on for another 30 minutes, it's a-okay to stop watching. I will not stand around and say it's going to get all magical and special. There are new attacks added in Phase 2 that I'll get to as they're introduced. And like I said, I do show the enraged form when we destroy the antenna, because I destroy it by accident during the fight. Like, I knew about it, it's just like because I'm doing like those kinds of attacks, they chip the antenna just enough time so it breaks it. Also, the lock-on can be a little questionable at times. As you saw there, I was right next to the leg, looking at it, and for some reason Nox locked onto the face over there. Like, why? It might be an idea to use a hard lock-on during this fight as well to help keep the concentration on the legs when you go. If you don't know what I mean, I've mentioned it like earlier on, but that was like many parts ago now. If you press R3, you can let go of the lock-on button and the lock will remain. It's a hard, like, tap lock sort of thing. And it can be helpful for dealing with Omega. As you might be able to hear in the music, we've just entered Phase 2. And now the music is a remix of Final Fantasy V's battle theme, as along with a few other themes from the game. Like, you'll hear Lena's theme as a part of this as well, which is considered the main theme of Final Fantasy V, which I can kind of see why, as much as don't always agree, but But the music is amazing. I'm going to shut up for a second and let you listen to the music. I know I've said this very often the entire Let's Play, but the soundtrack for this game is so goddamn good. Seriously. I can't get enough of this soundtrack. Final Fantasy 15 soundtrack is a work of art. And it's not just Yoko that worked her ass off and made this an absolute masterpiece. Like, she's not the only one to thank. Yeah, she did the main game and she did Royal Edition. But even the episode soundtracks are really good. They were all done by guest composers. Even Comrades, done by the legendary, notorious Nobuo Uematsu, one of my all-time favourite composers, just adds to the brilliance of this game's soundtrack. Everything about this soundtrack is just so damn good. And the fact that it's over 200 tracks gone, and still growing, because episode Arden's not out yet, like, holy shit. But the main thing with Omega in Phase 2 is that it'll be trying much harder to line you up with its face to do death lasers. And it'll be stomping at random like that. And the stomps are instant kill if they hit you. There's not a chance of instant kill, it's a guaranteed instant kill. Additionally, this is where it's going to start targeting you. If you see something that looks like a red dot laser, like a thinnest possible laser trying to circle around you, dodge like a moron. Because if that gets a sight on you, and you see the lock-on marker on you, the lock-on will stay on you until it kills you, and it will keep on doing instant death explosions until you die. Those there, what you just saw, hit Gladio and put him down. If they connect with you, it's sort of like it's supposed to be it shoots a laser so fast you detonate immediately, but you don't see it go off. You just explode. And if you somehow get the frame perfection to dodge it, it will just do it again and again and again. So in fact, it is just better to let it get you so you can get rid of the tag laser. It's charging it up again. The whole time it's not targeting me, I'm okay. Here goes that leg. Oh, that's it, that's all the legs. No, I meant to move away, I didn't even realise it was all the legs. So that's all you get. There's so little time. This boss fight is such a gauntlet. When I say that, it's not like other boss fights in Final Fantasy history that take forever. This fight is actively, consistently challenging you the entire way through. It's not like the Adamantoise or that thing from 12 that has like 27 million HP. Like, yeah, they're not just going on but aren't that difficult. Like, this fight is genuinely a war machine that you have to fight and give your all to get through. And if you let your guard down for a second, it's over. And the fact that I went in with 99 Phoenix downs and it still took me 2 attempts tells you all you need to know. There's not really much else to say. Like, I could bring up the page again on the wiki and read more stuff from that. I'll do that. Just a quick Google search. For all the boss fights in the game, going through the game whilst I'm bringing this up, all I've ever done is search Final Fantasy 15, then the boss's name, and then stats. And it brings me up with the Final Fantasy wiki to do things from that. Right. Oh, what's the battle log say? Okay. The battle log reads, Omega appears when the player enters the area where it is fought in the city. It is docile and simply roams around the area, and the player must initiate the battle if they wish to fight it. Omega is by far the toughest enemy due to its unrivaled defensive stats and 99% damage resistance to normal weaponry and elemental magic, except lightning, which is 20% damage resistance, and light, which it absorbs. It is immune to arcane magic from the Ring of the Lucii and its powerful attacks. Not even the Magitech exosuit cannot block. It can wipe out a max level party with endgame equipment in a single blow. To clarify, the Magitech exosuits, we haven't used them, but they've always been in our inventory. The way they work is that for 30 minutes in game time, or until you take a certain amount of damage, you can take 0 damage. However, there are specific hunts in the game, and Omega, where it is not allowed. It won't let you use it, it will ignore it completely, and you'll just take the full brunt of the damage if you decide to wear it. So, it's just a way of saying you can't cheat this fight. Omega will wipe the floor with you regardless. Omega can be attacked on its legs, head, backside, and antenna. The legs break after receiving some damage, and Omega will temporarily fall into a vulnerable state once the 4 legs are broken. It can sometimes turn around in place to make it harder for the player to attack them. Omega is immobile while vulnerable, and dealing enough damage to its head will make the state will pop it out, allowing the player to execute a unique cross-chain attack. Attacking Omega's antenna deals double damage, but focusing on its head and the backside to a lesser degree, when not vulnerable, will drive it berserk for a limited time. When berserk, Omega will move faster and become immune to all royal arms, but lose its 99% resistance to normal weapons. Omega's attacks are deadly, and some are capable of one-shotting the entire party. It shoots a red laser out of its tenora, blasts a huge blue laser from its frontal cannon, fires an explosive blast from its eye that causes instant death, exhausts smoke from its back to cause confusion, launches homing missiles to make the party enervated, and can briefly disappear before pouncing on the party. It drops the rare metal accessory when defeated, which gives Noctis a colossal strength boost and allows him to break the damage limit without Armago Unleashed, but in exchange it reduces his defense and cuts its HP by 90%. So in the main game where we're using the bangle that has us on 9,999, we'd be on 999 with reduced defense. So we'd be one hit away from death, but we'd be hitting like a truck and we'd be doing over 9,999 damage per hit. Omega's 99% resistance to normal weapons forces the player to use the Royal Arms. But even this will take a very long time due to its staggering vitality. Powerful lightning magic such as Quintcast, Fundaga or Electon can be used. Electon has not been covered yet. There's 3 spells that if you mix the right elements become entirely new spells. Fire will become Flare, Blizzard will become like Blizzron or something like that, and Thunder will become Electron. There's Flare in the classic Final Fantasy games before Meteor was introduced in 4 was the original ultimate spell. Then when 4 came out, Meteor took its place, and then when 6 came out, Ultima took its place. And Ultima still to this day stands as the strongest spell in the Final Fantasy universe. Anyway, where was I? But it has very high potency to deal sufficient damage due to Omega's tremendous spirit and 20% resistance to lightning. It is recommended to travel to Pass Lucis and set up camp and consume the Sienta-styled sushi to boost the party's strength and magic by 75% and to make all attacks critical. Should Ignis not have this recipe, the Royal Bandit Canap or the the Golden Tail Soup are decent substitutes. The player should primarily focus on Omega's legs to break them, but since it is protective of them, the player can also attack its head, backside, and especially its antenna, as the latter takes double damage. However, it is best to attack them sparingly, as continued onslaught will drive Omega berserk. Should Omega become berserk, Noctis should switch to regular weapons when it temporarily becomes immune to Royal Arms. It is recommended that you attack from either range of warp strike or firearms, as Omega's consistent melee attacks with increased movement speeds. Ignis's overwhelm technique is also viable due to the party members being invincible during its duration. Although it will take longer, it would be safer to use the standard Armiger over Armiger Unleashed, as the latter Noctis can easily fall into a danger state due to Omega's high damaging attacks. The player should break Omega's leg first to make it vulnerable, then activate Armiger and focus on attacking its head, and to make it pop out the cross chain that can deal up to 99,999 damage if executed perfectly. If using higher damage output of Armiger Unleashed despite the risks, it's best to use a mix of Armiger Vortex and Armiger Onslaught, as they are the best damaging finishing combo moves. It is recommended to use the Armiger technique whenever available, as they are devastating and make Noctis invincible in its duration. The Tech Turbocharger accessory hastens the tech bar refill rate, so Noctis can use the techniques more often, but after Unleashed runs out, the player can swap it out for the Armiger Accelerator to refill the Armiger bar faster. An easy, albeit extremely time-consuming way to win is to character swap the Prompto with the Clever's talisman equipped so he has infinite ammo, and position him between the building that Omega cannot reach him. Between 2 buildings so Omega cannot reach him. Then use the Rapidus SMG on Omega's antenna to make it berserk and continue firing due to it losing its 99% resistance to firearms. Musical themes. Once Omega's HP themes drops below 50%, a new orchestral arrangement of Final Fantasy V tracks Battle 1 and Lena themes begins to play. And etymology, if you care about it. Omega, capital Omega symbol, lowercase the W, Greek Omega, is the 24th and last letter in the Greek alphabet, and is synonymous with a set end of or limit. For some reason the music suddenly got really loud, so I just quickly edited and lowered that down because that was a bit ridiculous. Hopefully it's okay on your guys' end when you're listening to this, but still. I can only assume it's because my recording limit when I'm recording footage is set to half an hour, and because this video is 43 minutes, at some point I would have had to split the recording into 2 so I can continue the fight. So I probably just recorded it at a higher level of audio than the previous one by accident, or deliberate. I don't know what me back in last March was thinking. Because yeah, I literally just started the Let's Play when I recorded this fight, or was just about to start the Let's Play when I recorded this fight. Jeez. And that's something. But it should be okay now, it's a lot quieter. Hopefully I'm not being completely overpowered. There goes Prompto again. Oh yeah, don't be close to its chest because it will just drop its chest. Iggy's gone as well. Be wary that as more team members of yours go down, the more likely it's going to target Noctis. Where's it landing? There he is. And the audio just changed again, so I'm guessing I had to put another cut in. That's the only thing that's really annoying, so I'm having to like edit past me's recording from like last March. Like, what the hell? But I know, like, without meaning to do the humble brag, but I have got better editing, because of course I have. I've been doing it non-stop for ages now, so you would just get better experience. But god damn it, if I've really changed that much in my editing since like 10 or 11 months now. Ugh. And there was another one, did you hear it? The audio had to change again. So I'm just gonna have to keep on editing it and changing it until I get it on, like post edit, and hopefully it'll blend in just nice enough that it won't become too evident. Okay, we're marked for death now. They see Nox has been marked for death. That's the enervated state that it was on about. Now at random we're just gonna fucking explode. There it is. And it's just an instant kill regardless. I think the only way you'd be able to get away with it is normal armor because of the fact it makes you immortal. And yeah, my throat is still a little tired. It's not aching or scratchy like it was yesterday and the day before, but it is getting better, thankfully. Don't know why it's taken so long to get better. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I know the illness I had last week was pretty rough and all, but at the same time, we're edging nearly 2 weeks since I initially got it. Like, come on, it shouldn't take this long for me to get this much better. Also, there is another instance where I'm trying to lock on and Nox just doesn't want to play ball for some stupid reason. Come on, Nox. 17 minutes left though. We can get there. Its HP's on the G, for goodness sake. Look. As it does another death laser that it has to chill out on. I like that it has to like correct its footing or something does it like a child. I was really expecting that to be the moment that the antenna gets triggered. I know it happens once in this fight because I was cacking myself. I remember distinctly being like, ah, when it happens. And that's the best I can scream with my throat the way it is. Oh. I just can't get enough of this music. Sorry, I keep on zoning out to the music. It's just so good. Also, just because Omega himself is level 119 doesn't mean you need to be. I did this at like a level 109, I think. As long as you've got the strategy down, the higher level would just make the fight quicker. And anything that you have that boosts strength and defense might help as well. But defense maybe less so because it's going to one-shot you regardless, let's be honest. Yeah, see? Almost there. We're on the M. No, we're more on the E than the M. I was getting a bit too optimistic there. Every time it has to steam off after the laser, it is vulnerable for a little while. Not long though, but it's still. At this point, look, I just got my death sentence as I went to do that. Like, it connected as I started the animation. Also, I managed to time. You might notice that the explosion went off as I did the special attack. There's the second one. But I managed to get away at timing that first one really beautifully. God, and the audio changed again. I thought I was through with that. Like, with how this was left, I would have thought I just would have pushed for the final half hour. But no, there's another one. It's more concerning that all of them are like different volumes every time a new one comes in. Like, why? But I'm hoping that'll be the last one. As 2 of our team members died to the same laser. And you're going to see now, because it's not targeting anyone else, it's only targeting us. As I managed to avoid getting targeted there. See, I start trying to pick them up because like, we can't get to the back of it at all. the gas attack that comes out the back of it that you sometimes see, that one you should be wary of because it does cause confusion if you're hit by it, and you don't want that this late in the fight. Because we have been going on for over half hour now. And you know, Gladio is marked for death already, poor guy. Who else is going to get marked? Oh, no, Iggy was very evasive there. Good on him. Don't know what Omega's doing now. He's just kind of wallowing around. Like when you... Oh, there goes Gladio. So he needs to get immediately up because he's most likely to survive everything above everyone else. I know it doesn't mean much, but still, most likely. And there he goes again! I just want to use a Mega Phoenix to give everyone a fair chance and then just go full throttle. So you're going to see me use the dodge to move around quickly enough. Be careful though that it doesn't end up lining up with an attack, because the perfect dodge does cast Holy. Sort of like when you're using the Ring of the Lucian, you do the perfect dodge. And it's not what you want. When Omega drains Holy, you don't want to be giving this son of a bitch more health. Especially because if you do the last attack in the full Omega sequence, the last attack gives him 9,999 HP. So it will completely undo all the work you've done. Well, all the work the rest of the attack does. Oh, no, we've been marked for death again. Oh, there it is. You know when it's going to try and do the whole explosion death, because it just kind of leans forward and judders, and when it jolts it's when the explosion goes off. Because it is implied, ow. It is implied that it just kind of explodes. It just kind of shoots it so fast it seemingly explodes. But it just doesn't look like it. Oh, there go another 2 team members. So you need to try and keep everyone up to just essentially keep him distracted. Hey. If you listen out for the audio cue when it's shooting it, you can start getting more consistent in dodging it, so you don't have to deal with the instant kill bollocks. It's just you gotta be wary and constantly on your toes about it. And of course it decided to lock on something that wasn't what I was locked onto again. Thanks, game. If you've been here for this long, firstly I don't know what's wrong with you, because nothing's really, like, unless you're waiting for the enraged part, because I know that's at some point during this fight, I'm sure it is. Actually, I think it's going to happen in the next couple of minutes, so... On the flip side though, we're nearly there. We've only got about 10 minutes of the video left. Only, he says. Coming up to the point where no matter what I try, you're going to see it. I just can't get the lock on. Like, the lock on just won't play ball. If you tap a direction when you're locked on, the lock on will switch, and despite the fact I'm tapping directly at the leg, it won't do it. It just won't. There we go. And it does this a few times in the next 10 minutes, where you're going to see me lock onto the leg, and the game just decides no. Like now. And the game just fights you on it. There you go. He just doesn't want to give it up. It's like, no, you will not have this victory, Rob. You're just going to reuse this footage later on. Oh, yeah, good thing I went around, not straight at that. That's going to take everyone out by the looks of it. Oh, no, Prompto barely survived. Oh, don't want to get marked again. Not too soon. But look, it's on the M. We're nearly there. We can do it. Well, if you've seen this footage before, you already know we do it, but you know what I mean. Oh, there goes Prompto as well. It's like I keep saying, you need to keep everyone up to keep Omega's attention off the player, to keep the attention off you. Ow! Oh great, everyone's confused as well now. So he's going to take the opportunity for an easy kill there. Or not. Maybe I just got lucky because of the animation overriding. Oh yeah, look, look, look. Ah. That, if he wasn't in Armored Girl Unleashed, would have been when it came up doing the cross chain. And a little moment of because I forgot that actually happens in this. Yeah, I triggered it. I'm pretty sure I just triggered it. No? Okay. I saw the red flash. It is a red flash that signals that it's done. But at this point I get really aggressive again because I just wanted to finish the fight. Which ends up getting me marked for death again, yay. There it is. Oop. The reason why I'm not using Royal Arm weaponry, even though it's the only thing that does proper damage to it when it's not weak, is purely because you can't build up your armor meter with a Royal Arm. You have to use a normal weapon. Ideally, you should either be using the Great Sword or dual knives, dual daggers, to build it up as quick as you can. Because both are filling up. Because the Great Sword is highest filling per hit, and the daggers are most hits you can get in per second. So both of them fill it up the quickest for different technicalities. And of course it teleports away as soon as we go to do dynamic stance, so it's completely wasted. Yeah, we've done it, now we've triggered it. This is the enraged state. It's immune to all Royal Arm weaponry. You need to use normal weapons to harm it at all. And it's going to be in a full rage mode. The damage stat on it is a hell of a lot higher, so everything that hits you is an instant kill. And it's just going to go absolutely berserk and rush around. If it hits you when it's rushing around, it will also hurt like a truck, so just keep moving, keep out of the way. Also, yeah, that was my accidental dodge, trying to just move out the way. I just dodge countered it and holied it, and gave it back 8,000 HP. Oh! Yeah, mind the death lasers, it's constantly spamming. And there we go, it's done. And now it has to cool down for a relatively long time so you can make the most of it to get some damage in. But the fucker teleported immediately. So I didn't get real time to make the most of that. It's just my luck there, but still. But we're nearly there. We've only got 4 minutes left. Look at this HP, it's so little. We can do this. Well, you already do, but you know what I mean. But did you notice, like, the more moves that got added to this guy as we went on, the slower its HP started going down. Like, the first third of it was gone in about 10 minutes, and it's taken us another half hour to do the next 2/3. This fight can really drag when you're not ready. And there goes Gladio again. A little bit of hard menuing. I'm not a speedrunner, but still. Yeah, you end up spending a lot of time going through menus super quickly to just try and get everything that you need done. Come on. Yeah, if you spend forever doing nothing, he'll start healing himself, which is what you just saw there. We have to get Gladio up again. Come on, Gladio, you're supposed to be the guy who takes everything. You're taking nouts. But the problem is that Omega never sits still, the fucker. Unless he's shooting his laser and killing half the team. So it's like, come on, his HP is on the O, and there's only a couple minutes left, so we finish it up like now. We need to finish it up very soon. Probably next Armago we finish it. So I would say I'm surprised I managed to keep the commentary for this long, but I know I really haven't. I've had a lot of science spouts and a lot of repeating myself because there's just nothing to say once you know what you're doing with Omega. Once you've got the pattern down, it's just keep on doing it until it goes down. And accept any deaths that come along as they happen. Except for when it fucking teleports away at random like that when you're mid-combo again. But it dies here. Because the vulnerability makes it so it has to take the extra damage, so it has to take that. And I do another dynamic stance to just put myself in a better position, but it doesn't have anything to give now. You fought well, Omega, but we fought harder. Accept your defeat. Accept it. He teleports away again, fucker. And there we go, he's dead, and you get your rare metal. And next time on Final Fantasy 15, there'll be a few more super bosses for us to tackle. But until then, you guys take care now.
Yeah, we did. Oh, the Omega's might knew no equal until today.